Imagine standing on the shore of the Sea of Galilee 2,000 years ago. A crowd is pressing in so tightly that Jesus has to step into a small wooden boat just to give himself room to teach. From that boat, he tells a story about a farmer walking through a field, scattering seed. In this equation, the farmer is a constant. He represents the ultimate sower, doing the work faithfully, efficiently, and without error. The seed he throws is also perfect. It represents the Word of God. According to the text, this seed is incorruptible, holding absolute divine potential to produce life. There is no flaw in the farmer, and there is no defect in the seed. This chart shows how those perfect inputs actually perform. Identical seed is dropped into 4 distinct environments, yet in 3 out of the 4 scenarios, the harvest fails completely. Jesus used parables to act as a filtering mechanism. When his disciples asked why he spoke this way, he explained that these stories hide truth from passive listeners while revealing it to active seekers. Because the farmer and the seed remain the same across every scenario, the success of the harvest depends entirely on the single changing variable, the receptivity of the soil. The first handful of seed falls onto a path. This dirt has been trodden down by constant foot traffic until it is as hard as concrete. The seed cannot penetrate and remains exposed on the surface. This visual illustrates the corresponding human condition, the hard heart. This listener hears the word, but a lack of understanding creates an impenetrable surface. Because the seed remains on the surface, it's easily taken. Jesus explains the wicked one snatches it away. The second handful lands on rocky ground. Thin topsoil hides solid bedrock. The seed springs up quickly, putting out green shoots almost immediately. This represents the shallow heart. This person receives the message with an intense, emotional burst of joy, but the roots have nowhere to go. When exposed to the sun, representing the heat of worldly trials or persecution, the plant withers. Without deep roots, the initial excitement cannot survive the environment. Both the hard and shallow hearts fail because they lack the depth required to protect the seed from external threats. The third handful of seeds successfully grows, but is immediately surrounded by invasive thorns. Jesus identifies these thorns as the deceitfulness of wealth, worldly anxieties, and earthly lusts. These internal distractions compete for the same limited resources. While the plant survives, it is slowly choked. It remains in a state of permanent fruitlessness, never reaching maturity. Finally, the seed lands in the good soil. Here, it is able to take root unhindered. The good soil represents an honest, receptive heart. This listener hears, understands, and accepts the word, providing the necessary environment for growth. The result is a massive success. The original seed multiplies 30, 60, or even 100-fold. Achieving a full harvest requires a ruthless clearing of internal distractions to allow for lasting, mature growth. This parable functions as a diagnostic mirror for the heart. It moves the focus away from the farmer and the seed and places it squarely on the listener. We have to ask if our hearts are currently hardened and impenetrable to new truth. We must evaluate if our faith is shallow, built only on temporary emotional experiences that wither under pressure. We have to assess if our spiritual lives are being choked by the pursuit of wealth or the anxieties of modern life. The text frames true hearing as an act of obedience. It is the active preparation of our internal environment to receive what is sown. Jesus closes with a final invitation. The farmer has sown the seed. The responsibility for the harvest rests entirely on the listener's willingness to hear.